welcome back. 5 years, bloody hell. Welcome back to the Not All CEOs Are Dicks podcast, also a dick podcast for the purposes of moderation. We are doing a bit of a different one today. We're going to do a bit of a joint podcast. So Arthur, who is a good friend of mine, is also starting his podcast. Is this backup or starting it again?
It's starting it. It's the brand spanking new.
Nice. And what is it going to be called?
I've finally worked that out.
Nice.
It's Beyond the Profile.
Nice.
Yeah.
Solid. Solid.
Hopefully kind of gives an idea to the world of what it is.
Yeah, and what we might be waffling about a
yes.
bit. So both me and Arthur are pretty passionate about personal branding, and it's kind of how we got to know each other. So we originally met. It's like dating. We met online.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Was less swiping involved, but we met on LinkedIn, and I was up in Manchester filming somebody else's podcast. We met up and had lunch and were chatting about things and actually talking about podcasting, and that gives you a clue on how long this has taken for me to start doing it, because that was almost a year ago.
That was last year.
So yeah, we're going to do a bit of a joint one. Arthur's going to fire some questions and talking points, I'm sure. But yeah, we're just going to talk really about personal branding and everything involved in it. So what do you want to chat about, my friend?
Well, I just, like you say, passionate about it. How it helps people, again, from when I spoke to you first to where you are now with it. Game changer, yeah. And then even from people I've seen on it, again, even from myself, looking at it 18 months ago, I just thought it was people just posting for vanity. Yeah. And now it's actually people build businesses off of it.
Well, I think people were. That's the trouble. So people used to historically just see it, especially LinkedIn, as just, right, I'm going to big myself up and I'm going to be the big swinging what's it. And I think people have realised that that's not that interesting, and people don't engage with that. And yeah, authenticity is kind of really where it's at. And we've been making a conscious effort in it for 2 years now, probably, maybe even a touch more. And in that time, it's gone from posts like having 10 likes and sort of 1,000 impressions or views to now posts getting 5,000 to 8,000 likes and millions of views, and we're not necessarily doing anything different. We're just consistent with it, and of course we've learned. But yeah. So what elements of it? Because the thing I think is that a lot of people get it wrong or have a fear of doing it. So how do you find it? Because you're doing it from the other side. I'm there posting shit. You're there encouraging people to post shit.
Well, I think it's the biggest barrier we always come up to, especially when introducing it. It's that cringe element, and I battled with it when I first did it, because you think to yourself, what have I got to say that anyone gives a crap about? But then you just kind of go to the fact that people post utter crap on actual social media platforms, which your parents and your friends and stuff can see, and that's all funny. And then you go, well, what do you do the biggest chunk of your life? Your work. Yeah. Why not talk about it? Why not show the insides and outs of what it is you do? And that's what I always say to people. The two biggest things you do in life in terms of time is sleeping and work. And unless you're very fortunate, you don't have to work till very late. But those, you don't want to hear about people's sleep patterns as much as you might hear it on like Direct CEO and stuff.
Increasingly with things like Whoop, people are talking about their sleep way too much. Yeah,
exactly. So, but I always think that's the biggest element. Talk about your work, and especially because obviously we go in the recruitment space quite heavily. People think that, I just post jobs and stuff like that. That's enough. It's never enough. And people don't care.
Boring.
Yeah, I don't care
about
it's
not a job board.
No.
So if you want to post jobs, go do it on a job board. Yeah. And like LinkedIn has a job board. Exactly. If you want to post jobs, post it there. I think recruiters can post free. Well, I don't know if they still can, but they certainly could for a while post a free one anyway.
Yeah, I think you get one or two free.
But the bit that people don't, or the people that are doing that don't seem to get, is the additional value. If you do it well, you have the ability to transcend that and actually get to a point where your sort of off the cuff posts and those things that you're in reality, once you're getting used to it, taking sometimes minutes, sometimes seconds to post, the impact that that's having on you as a business person and your world around you. So in my world, the number of people that want to join us, the the sort of messages I get and stuff like that, even down to people just... I had someone recently message me saying, actually, you were posting about how remote working is still out there while I was looking for it, thinking that basically my working life was over because I thought I wouldn't be able to get it. And actually reading your post one day kept me going, and I've got my dream job, and thank you, sort of thing. And this is somebody I've never engaged with. We weren't even connected, but just the consistency of posting. And it's amazing how often stuff like that happens, and you kind of don't realise the reach of it. And I've sort of become blasé about the numbers, but the numbers are ridiculous. Like I was showing you that time. Yeah. We had a post that I text you sort of at one point, and it was 1.2, and then I text you again half an hour later, it was 1.6 million, and that one ended up in the mid to late twos within 3 days.
Yeah, it's mad.
And the number of people connecting with me, wanting to reach out to work with us, clients. That's the thing that people think, oh, we post about toxic working conditions and how people should be better and all of that sort of stuff. But clients are reading it going, no, I like the look of what these people are talking about. And they're reaching out to us going, hey, look, would you be able to help me with this? So there's genuine business coming from it. There's people wanting to join. There's positive interactions. Occasionally I get negative interactions. Yeah. I had someone fairly recently send me a message telling me I was worse than Hitler, which I didn't really understand. It started off talking about remote working, I don't know how we got from remote working to Hitler. But
quite a jump.
But yeah, I told them that I'm of Jewish descent, and they shut up pretty quick. So I think my exact response was, I'm actually Jewish in origin, and I'm pretty sure, just committed a hate crime. So, and weirdly, the person got less angry and apologised after that.
But it's the weird thing, again, because LinkedIn, for the most part, from what I see, it's a very positive energy place. Like, people usually try to big up people as much as possible where they can, because I think they understand they're trying to promote business, trying to do better for themselves, and bring in the bacon kind of thing. Obviously, the human race are just wired to be negative at every point, but it's a weird space to do it because it's not really a space where people make fake accounts and stuff like this. Your name's listed, your job title's listed, your company's listed.
Someone who worked for us found someone with a really obnoxious post, so set up a new email address called whatever, and then set up an account where the name was that person and then mum.
Oh.
And then sent them a message telling them to be nicer. Sorry, sent on their post, commented telling them to be nicer as their mum. It was just brilliant. So it still occasionally happens.
Yeah.
But
it's just it's a weird environment where those bits come through. Again, I've spoken to people on around this topic before, and the odd bits. Again, I recently had someone constantly commenting how, and I'm quite humble. I know I'm not Ryan Gosling or anything like that. He kept saying how handsome I was.
Nice.
And those things are like, but then you have to think into the aspect of LinkedIn, the world. You know what the space is like. As much as you can put your personality across and everything like this, there's still a meaning of doing business behind it all.
Yeah, but you've always got good pictures, to be fair.
I've had to cut them down because of that.
I always think
Mrs. looked at it.
You just look like the most well-travelled human ever, because either you go places and you just take a million things, or you've got a spectacular green screen. But every time you've got a picture, you're somewhere else. I'm going, I was talking to you the other day, and you didn't say you've been anywhere.
No, I put that down to my missus, where she it's constant, and I can't complain.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this year we haven't really been anywhere apart from Lisbon, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then obviously, but I hate getting pictures taken of me, and I've conceded the fact that sometimes on LinkedIn you need to do it so there's a face behind the brand. But she'll just catch me out and just got you. And
I'm terrible at that though.
I hate it.
So every picture, like Sasha will agree with this. You asked me to take a nice picture, don't you? I'm like, oh.
That is my response usually. Yeah,
I just can't physically do it. Weirdly, went downstairs, they asked to take a picture, and be as weird as you want. Well, that's my natural home,
exactly.
so fine with that.
Yeah, again, I'm always just I think if you look through it, my face is just the same. It's just that's it. Trying to get this over done as quickly as possible. See you later. But
I'm definitely here against my will. Please help.
It probably does look like that. I probably get Yeah, probably shouldn't put alarm too much, but that's what happens on these holidays, basically. But
So,
no, but yeah, it's just like you were saying, like the brand and stuff like that. Just you say that even like on the topic of like imagery and bits like that. I think people try and think that's what needs to be done with it, but again, you're mainly text based in terms of, or
yeah,
predominantly text
yeah,
based,
I
like
don't.
90%.
I very rarely put pictures, mainly because I kind of can't take a sensible picture of
No.
myself. So okay, very, very occasionally there's a picture. Typically, I actually think the last picture I put up was me pointing at a hole in my trousers in front of my mirror in the entrance to my home, because it was where my groin was, and it was me posting about the fact that it's not a good start to
No.
the day when that happens outside your 7-year-old daughter's school. And yeah, I think that was my last picture. So that kind of sums up my ability to take pictures
Yeah.
of it's me pointing at my nether regions with a gaping hole in my trousers. But I can't be sensible, as you well know. So
But then that's the whole thing when you do the content and everything like that. I think if you're not putting you down in the way you're writing,
yeah,
then it's odd. Like again, when we introduce ourselves to each other, like again, I think we did it through Star Wars gifs and
yes,
memes and stuff.
yeah.
And I was like, oh god, what's
You
happening
said
here?
hello, and I said,
Yeah.
and I sent the
Obi-Wan back or the
it was either Obi-Wan
baby
or
Yoda thing.
Yoda.
Yeah.
No, but it's not Yoda, is it? It's the little
The
one.
baby one, yeah.
What's Baby Yoda called? It's from The
I
Mandalorian.
don't want to say it because I'll look like a right nerd.
What, do you know what it is?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Grogu.
Well, I think it's Grogu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Grogu.
Yeah.
Saying, and honestly, I get the weirdest reactions. I had someone the other day. So there's one that I think is Honey Boo Boo going hi with their hair, and somebody went, "Is this your weird way of flirting?"
Oh wow.
To which I responded like, "No, I don't
Possibly.
normally use an American child as my opening gambit for flirting,
to.
but you've clearly had some very odd interactions with people in the past." So in terms of personal branding, would you, sort of platform-wise, what would you say is the best approach?
Again, it's always like you mentioned the authenticity piece. Like if you're not being you when you're producing the content, and I would make sure when you're talking, like almost read the post out and make sure that's how you would sound in a conversation. Because if it doesn't, then when people read it and then they come to contact you, and then they meet you in person, like again, if I'd met you when we met in Manchester the first time, and you were the corporate, normal, very strict kind of person, then I'd be like, this doesn't add up, and it's just all a facade then. And I think people think you need to have a facade, but you don't, because you need to be you, because people buy from people. That's the whole adage. And like when we talk about like adding AI into the mix and this kind of stuff to curate content, great and all and that kind of stuff. Great to check things, but don't do it to create the content, because it's not you. And as much as you see every AI generated post, it sticks out like a sore thumb now with the rocket emoji and hey LinkedIn fam, which no one says. You just notice it, whereas people who say their piece, and there's someone out there I know, a guy who creates content, he does a lot of controversial topics kind of thing, but I've spoken to him and that's who he is. And like, it'd be weird if he was trying to be all normal and things like that. So I would say just make sure when you're writing that's almost how you sound. Like try even having a conversation with someone about it, and if it doesn't sound like you, then delete it all and start again, kind of thing.
But like I said to you before, we used to record stuff, so we would just, if we wanted to do talks on certain subjects, we would just come up with some topics, record a load of video around it, and then there you go.
Yeah.
You've immediately got a load of posts, and potentially some of the video recordings that I did were pretty bad. Like I am atrocious at sitting in front of a camera, knowing that it's going to go out somewhere. But yeah, if you're getting ideas off the back of it, then it's surely a worthwhile exercise.
Yeah, again, I know she's like the queen of it all. That Amelia Sordell, where she again, as much as people, I think, very Marmite opinions on her, whatever, who cares? But she knows what she's doing.
I don't really understand. So there's a few things I don't understand. She could post "Hi, how are you?" and get like 50,000 likes.
It's a cult following, isn't it?
But I don't get it, because I get that she knows she knows the personal branding space, and she's clearly personally branded herself quite well. But I don't understand how the messaging is different than tens of thousands of other people out there. But yet, there's like, as you say, there's this cult-like sort of...
Yeah, but it's like once you get there, isn't it? It's like people could probably compare themselves to you now, where they go, well, I could do that. But then now you get to the point where you
don't want to be like me, I'm a bit fucking odd.
Well, that's the best way to be. But again, that people could view that again. Sometimes I view it when I see people who are on a similar level to me, and then I'm like, what the hell? Like they do so much better than me. But that's the biggest thing to not do is the comparison bit. Like again, because you've got with yourself, you've got such a unique MO with it all now that you don't really need to worry about who else is trying to compare to because it's not going to happen. Like bits that we do, and I've got to the point where I'm like, screw it. Like I'm so niche when it comes to bits and bobs. And again, for example, like again, we've got competitors with what we do now. Again, we're new to the game of where we are and what I'm doing with it. And there's people who've been there for 5+ years. I know I'm not going to outdo them right away because it's going to take time. People have trusted with them and all this kind of thing, and they know what they're talking about. They've done all the research. They're ahead, 10 steps ahead of us before we even make one in a way. So it's trying to compare. That's when I say to people as well, I give them, whenever I reach out to new clients, I give them 5 examples of people and they go, right, which one sounds like you? And it's almost a testing period where I go, there's one person I show who's clearly a vanity project and it's just all the likes and that's it. Because you look at it and they get about 4 comments and you go, but they've got like 300 likes. I'm like, why is that? It's because there's no value in what they're posting. It's just a very, very nice sort of scenario they're presenting.
But that's the trouble. People look at vanity metrics, whereas, and to be honest, I did. I used to look at impressions and stuff, and of course we monitor it just to see how it's performing against previous months.
Well, it's
and
analytics,
stuff like that.
isn't it? Yeah.
But the bits that interest me are how many recruiters reach out saying they want to join, how many companies reach out saying they want to use our services, how like the tangible stuff that comes off at the back of it. But there definitely is a correlation to likes, comments, shares, impressions, and having more of those things. But the bit that's important, there's no point in having a post that's got hundreds of thousands of impressions, but every person commenting on it has nothing to do with the thing you're trying to engage with, because effectively you're then just putting out noise, and it would be like doing a firework display where everyone's looking the other way that you want to look at it, and just a load of weirdos are staring at you. You need, but I think that's again the consistency of message. If you're constantly posting about stuff that you care about, that you believe your target audience is going to care about, then naturally you're going to build the sort of momentum with that group of people, and people neglect that because I'm sure you'll agree. Everyone seems to think that personal branding is like, okay, I'll go and do a course, and in the next 10 minutes, 1 million people are going to like my post. And the trouble is, a lot of these LinkedIn gurus were basically saying that was how this works. They were all going, you just post and we'll be in our network, and all they were doing is basically they were like farms. They were just going nuts. And the trouble with that, from my perspective, is all of a sudden those people stop being engaging with that person. They stop paying the subs or whatever. Oh, look, their engagement has dropped off a cliff, and it just proves that all the engagement was vanity. It wasn't anything of value, because it was just this network of people that are just going nuts. But it made people believe that these things are a short-term thing. And like, I know it's not. I'm over 2 years in to this. It's not like we've been doing it for 10 minutes. And
it takes time.
It takes time. It takes commitment. And it takes energy. And
patience.
It takes budgets. Like, for me, because I've still got to run a business, I've still got to look for new people to bring on into the business. I've still got to do all the other things that I do on a day-to-day basis. So I need support in it. I couldn't do it on my own. I physically wouldn't be able to. I need people helping me with ideas. Like Sasha is a great example. I wouldn't be able to do this without Charlotte and Sasha. I wouldn't be we wouldn't have a TikTok of any substance without Sasha. Every ALS post you see on TikTok is Sasha. Every post you see on my TikTok is Sasha, now it's stuff that she's taken from stuff I've talked about or whatever. But I don't have time to sit there going through a podcast, clipping up clips and stuff like that. I physically couldn't do it. And if I trusted AI to do it, I wouldn't have a fucking clue what would come out the other end.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining I come out with some pretty weird shit. So it's probably going to like fixate on that.
Yeah.
And everyone that looks at my clips is going to go, what is this fucking weirdo going on about?
But it is that just refining process. And like you say, it takes time. And like say, in 2 years for you, and I've been consistently on it for about 18 months or 2 years now. But I've had situations where it's going up and down. I can do so much and on and on. Again, and there's times where I just like, even that now, I think, I don't know how much stuff I've got scheduled out or anything like that. Yeah. I'm quite happy to take a break from it. And people think that as well, that it is the consistency showing up. Once you're starting out, like get that consistency going. And then we've said like people have done that micro kind of hyper way of doing where they go crazy for 4 months or whatever and then drop off.
Yeah.
But it's okay if you're doing it and you are going to be there consistently for as long as you see fit to do so, to take the odd week off to do it, because people presume that you do have a holiday, you have life, you've got things going on that not everything comes around needing to write this post and everything like that.
So weirdly, I only don't post at the weekend. The rest of the time I post. But yeah, thankfully the benefit of having people helping me is that if I'm not around, hopefully they are. And if not, you can schedule stuff in the modern world.
Yeah. But again, LinkedIn has, I think people forget that, and again, we cover this in like our workshops and bits and all that, where LinkedIn has its own scheduling tool. LinkedIn has a lot for you to do stuff
is
without...
Is that quite recent? Well, not recent, but it's not...
I think it was like 18 odd months ago to 2 years where personal pages could do it.
Fine.
And then now it's gone to company pages.
Fine.
But again, annoyingly, even though I work for a marketing industry where we push company pages and stuff like this, it just makes sense to do the personal stuff now because of the stats. And again, if you spend 10 minutes on LinkedIn just scrolling through, not even 10 minutes, probably 2, you'd not see a company page unless it was a paid ad.
Yeah, well, weirdly, a great example is ALS. So ALS has significantly more followers than me, but ALS's best post does worse than my worst post.
Yeah.
Like if I have a post, well, no, that's not probably completely true. There've been a few bangers on the ALS one, but people engage with people.
Yeah.
And people don't go on social networks to look at company stuff. They might engage with it, but it's more subtle engagement. People are less likely to like something. They're less likely to comment on something if it's a company post, because effectively you're talking to a faceless entity with no... It exists, of course it exists, but it's not an individual. So, and that... we have built a reasonable following on our company page. But yeah, my page, which is, I think, I've only got 14,000 followers or something, which I'm not adding people anymore. So historically, the way recruiters build their followings is
spam
250 or whatever it is a week, adding people and, hey, presto, I've got loads of followers. But I've stopped doing that now because I want to see the actual impact that the content is having. But I'm not. The thing I find nuts is, ALS has 30 whatever thousand. I have 14,000 as of I think today. But yet, we've got posts on mine that are doing millions and millions and millions, and I don't really understand how it works, to be honest, because there's people with 70, 80, 100, 200,000 followers who put up a post and get little to no engagement, and that to me doesn't make sense. Surely, if people are following you, you'd expect a fighting chance of that going out. But however the algorithm works, that I
it's always that messy
profess to understand, seems to prioritise consistency above followers count.
Yeah, but again, LinkedIn's a weird one as well because it's on. It's a weird thing because it's a platform that's trying to compete weirdly with the likes of Facebook, Instagram, which it shouldn't because it's a completely different entity. Because TikTok's now announcing they're going to basically create a different version of Instagram. LinkedIn's not going to do that and it should never.
That's why a lot of LinkedIn influencers seem to think it's Instagram.
No, it's not.
I've just come back from holiday. Here are 34 pictures of me in swimwear.
Yeah, that's a big thing we talk about. And again, like I said, when I show those examples, one of those is that. And I go, if a potential client looks at that and sees that as a valuable one, they're someone we don't really want to work with
Yeah,
because they've
well,
got unrealistic expectations.
But also, it's the vanity metrics, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's people. If you look at those posts, there's often shite loads of engagement, but the engagement isn't in any way helpful.
No, if you looked at the data of it all, who the actual like job titles, companies they work for, this kind of stuff, probably useless.
Yeah.
To the people, like it's great that you've gotten yourself 100 likes or whatever, but again, that's the biggest thing. I've had it as well, where things have gone decently well, and you get like, I think I did one when I worked for a previous company, and it was about how important mortgage brokers were, and it was a clip of Martin Lewis saying it on Good Morning, whatever, and that blew up, and I got like 200 likes on it. Nothing came of it.
No.
And then when I pivoted to doing the personal branding stuff, and I've gotten something that's got like 6 likes. I've got like 2-3 messages off the back of it.
Yeah.
And they've signed on, and you're like,
but that's exactly it. It's somebody who's chasing the vanity metrics would have gone, oh no, that's terrible. But you're like, well,
someone
actually,
who actually reads the value.
If I don't give a shit if someone sends me a message.
Yeah.
Like if I get one message, I'm winning.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, it's what are you getting out of it? And if you stick at it, the wins are huge.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the same with podcasting. Like, we're an example of that, as in me. If you're podcasting, you need to be doing it a lot because you need consistency in that to build up an audience and all of that sort of stuff, which we've struggled with for various reasons. And we've done, is this 3 or 4? 3 so far in the last 2 days, and we'll probably do another one potentially later, maybe tomorrow. And that's, of course, us trying to make a concerted effort to do it. And we've got another one in the bank at the moment as well, and potentially a few others. So we're starting to try and build the momentum, but we haven't been consistent with that, and you can't expect massive results out of it. And I know that we're probably going to have to be a few hundred episodes in before more than about 4 people listen to them, who are almost exclusively Sasha, Charlotte, and you'll listen, and my own relatives.
Yeah.
So,
but it always takes, again, like I go back to like my uni days and stuff. I used to do a sports show in the mornings, and we used to in the evenings as well, and we used to do it. And again, it was family members, friends, listen to it. And then once you built it up, and then like we got in guests and this kind of thing that have their own following, but ours was basically getting all the faculties involved and like the girls' football team being, and then it was like, oh, we had like 500 listeners from because they've all told their mates and it all webs out. And it's like, but again, unless you've got a brand ready to go behind it, which, you know, say for example, you're going to do a football podcast and you were the BBC, then you're going to be fine. But they're like, you know, even like, again, the whole Stephen Bartlett, the self-proclaimed god of like podcasting now, he would have started off with nothing and then it built up.
Yeah,
and
but
now
he's the god of peddling fuel.
Yeah. You've got to try it.
Yeah. I watched a video, I think probably on TikTok, of an actual nutritionist talking about all the nutritionists he's had on board on the show. And apparently not one of them has a singular qualification in anything to do with nutrition. But they all know everything.
Yeah.
And basically, if you take these 74 drugs, you're either going to live for 1 second or potentially till you're 1 million years old. And if they die, nobody's going to know if it was successful
not the drugs,
or not. It wasn't it the guy that did Atkins, the Atkins diet, passed away quite early.
Oh dear.
And whenever you see that, you're like, maybe I won't be doing that diet. It doesn't seem that healthy.
I'll keep eating roast every Sunday.
Yeah, I think we might have curveballed to weird fad diets.
No, yeah. I'll ask you on the personal branding side, when, again, in terms of you starting your journey with it, what was the kicker to doing that?
So I've got quite big aspirations of what I want ALS to be, and I don't think I will be able to achieve that without a fair few people knowing what it is. And I'm of the belief that in the early days of building awareness of it, it's easier to build awareness of me than it is to build awareness of the company. And then by virtue of people becoming aware of me, they will go, what's that guy do? And then become aware of the company. And it's easier to achieve that. And I look at people like Richard Branson's a good example. He goes into a new project and he's all over it. It's all him constantly. and then he kind of disappears off into the background. And I envisage that being the way it goes with ALS. So as a good example of that, our company TikTok, is it me on the company TikTok? Nope, it's Sasha.
Yeah.
I might appear occasionally with some awkward videos that Sasha's made me do, but it's Sasha appearing because this isn't a vanity project for me that I want to be all about me. In fact, if I could achieve what I want to achieve with me having to do nothing to do with it, that would be great. But I don't think that's achievable, and it's not like we're big enough that I've got 500 people where there's a sort of marketing club in it of 50 people who are all going to do a couple of TikToks a day or whatever, and we can just go nuts. That's not the nature of what we're in, and trying to get people to get involved in it is tricky. People don't want to because they're often not comfortable. And as I said to you earlier, I'm not comfortable standing in front of a camera just being filmed. I don't mind it if I'm talking like this. I'm comfortable doing that, but I'm not that comfortable just being given something to say. And I was joking with Sasha earlier that I did a video with Henna at the expo. I think it might have been at the Birmingham one, and I literally didn't know what to do with my hands. So 1 minute they're in my pocket. I just keep playing with this. 1 minute they're in my pocket, the next I'm like holding them. And at one point it looks like I'm playing with myself. It's really very odd. And but I just for some reason that's the thing I fixate on. And somebody went, use one of those like fidget things. I'm going,
but then you'll have a fidget thing.
But then I'm just going to fixate on that. So then the person's going to be talking to me. I'm going, look how fast it's going.
What was it you said?
I actually once did that and then went, I wonder what it feel like if I hit it on my tooth. And I've got an answer for everyone. Don't hit it on your tooth.
No, absolutely not.
It fucking hurts. But yeah, so I still get conscious about it, and because Sasha wants me to film a load of stuff tomorrow, and I was thinking to myself, genuinely, the first thing that comes into my head is, what should I do with my hands? Whereas here, like I just move my hands about and occasionally prod things, but genuinely, I'm sat there thinking, right, how are my hands going to be? And why am I caring about my hand? Like, it's not like I've got freakish hands. My hands are reasonably normal. But why is this the thing I'm fixating on of, what am I doing with that? So I'm hoping we've got a mic. So I'm going to go, there you go.
You have to worry about the other one, though.
And also, when I'm bored of whatever they're saying, I can just awkwardly move it back. So...
this is still going.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a spare mic. I'm hoping I haven't lost it. Have I lost it? Well, that's
broken. Yeah,
we had a mic. It's now broken.
But like even with like the video stuff you've now taken on board doing, again, like you said, doing the things right in front of your face and stuff like that. When did you sort of come to realization that might have to be part of the strategy?
It's what you said earlier. It's about getting your personality across. Because I'm never going to stand there taking selfies. I can't do it. I feel like a bell end, if I'm honest, just standing there going.
Well, I had that when you see like the holiday pictures. Like whenever I'm there, we had it like we were in Brussels Square, and she was taking pictures. I was like, this is my nightmare. I was like, there's like 1,000 people here, and I'm just there going.
So weirdly, I don't care about how many people there are. I just don't like it.
No,
I mind less if people are taking pictures of me. I don't like it when they say smile. I'm like,
I hate that. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just not comfortable. For whatever reason. But I know I have to get comfortable because being mediocre at something is not an excuse not to do it because I'm not going to get better at it unless I do it.
Keep going, yeah.
And what's the point in hiring people like Sasha to help me with it if I then refuse to do it? Because it's also not fair on Sasha. Like if she's got to film a bazillion videos, it's only reasonable that I do the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just got to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm going to be terrible at it for a period of time, and then hopefully one day it will click, and I will just be able to waffle on cue, ramming a microphone in someone's face. I might just see how close I can get it to their face before they get weirded out. Just that's going to be my mission tomorrow. I'm going to try and boop everyone on the nose. No, I'm not going to hit people because that's an assault. But whilst I'm talking and they're
Charges come on that.
answering, I'm just going to slowly move it more and more towards their nose just to see their own. Boop.
It's got that pop filter on it, so just
Yeah.
just push it in. So yeah.
Well, we've got a spare mic, so I might just stay mic'd up so that you can hear the boop as I do it.
Right is there.
That could be our thing, Sasha. That could be our yeah. We're having a sensible, normal conversation. And boop.
What was that? That's be like that. Balls of Steel.
Yeah.
We used to do that. Just see how
Yeah,
far
but
you could take it.
weirdly, so I don't like recording myself, but Sasha came to my house
All right.
and we recorded some TikToks.
Right.
I've never recorded TikToks. They were a little cringy. Rob, my ops director, fucking amazing at it. Like one shot everything. Yeah. But we went really camp. It was like, yeah, hey! We got this like gold champagne flute and he was loving it. But yeah, I was shite at it, but I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it was because Sash was asking me to do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very good at stupid. I'm terrible at being sensible.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky bit. So, but I've got to get used to being sensible.
But did you ever, when you like sort of building the brand and stuff like that, do you ever, when you first start doing it, was there ever the temptation to be like, right, I want to be suited and booted?
No.
No.
No, I look fucking weird in a suit.
But I mean, like in terms of even how you came across, was there
No.
like, no,
No, because I realised that if I was going to be sensible, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So everyone I've had that's worked with us, helping us on it, it's always been if you see other people doing it and it's sensible, that's the thing you shouldn't be doing. If you see people doing it and it's a bit silly, that's the things we should be doing. And it's a differentiator, isn't it? If everyone's doing the same shit, no one's going to be that impressed.
No, exactly.
And sorry, I'm not looking for people to be impressed. I think I'm phrasing it wrong. But nobody's going to engage with it. Nobody's going to go, oh, that's new. Let's look at the next thing that this person's done or whatever. It's just not going to happen. No. So it's just getting past that step.
That barrier. But that's always, whenever we talk to people, it is always that. It's the first step is always going to, in every walk of life, with everything you do, is that first step is always the hardest bit.
Yeah.
And then, but once you do it, again, like when I found doing it, it's just, like you say, once you do it consistently, you realise, don't think about it, just put it out there, and you realise it's on people's profiles, in their eyesight for a second.
Yeah.
And then hopefully more if they engage with it. But realistically, even once they've engaged with it, that's it, gone.
What I've realised is I don't care if people think I'm an idiot. That was the most liberating thing. I genuinely don't care if people think I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Just, I am an idiot, so they're kind of right.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm okay with it.
1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah, exactly that. Like, I'm never going to be a corporate person delivering a corporate message. I just couldn't do it. I wouldn't enjoy doing it, and it wouldn't be me. And people would see through it, and they'd think I'm full of shit, because I go, hang on, you've been corporate all along, you've been making up that you're a bit fucking weird. And you're like, no, I'm genuinely a bit weird. You only have to spend more than 3 minutes with me, and you'll realise that I'm not normal.
Your average Joe.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you encourage, obviously, because I've spoken to a couple of people and their teams now, and I remember seeing a post on LinkedIn, in fact, where someone mentioned that having a personal brand, per se, was key to almost getting a role.
Yeah, so it's not key to getting a role. Would I like people to do more of it? Yes. But I have to also accept that some people aren't comfortable with it. And I don't think it's fair of me to try and force what I'm trying to do on other people. I can extol the virtues of it. But as you know, I'm not someone that's like, it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
So because of that, I can tell people there's positive things that come out of it. And when we get positive things off the back of it, I make sure we've got like a celebration chat, and I'll put it in there almost to sort of subliminally say,
have a look at this,
like, this is helping. And we've got some automation platforms that help come up with ideas and all of that sort of stuff. But it's tricky. People don't want to come out their shell, and I get it. I get it. Especially in our world, they're recruiters. They want to be finding roles, finding candidates, putting the two together, sort of thing. And that's massively oversimplifying what they do, but the barest basics of it. And a lot of people don't see the value in this, and I see that internally. And so there are some who are good at it and are doing more and more of it, and there's some people that do none whatsoever. But there is definitely a correlation in the busyness of
Yeah.
the ones who are doing a lot versus the
Yeah.
ones who are doing nothing. I guess it's typically because the people that are putting in more effort are putting in more effort to other facets of things
Yeah.
as well, whereas the people that are kind of just hoping it sorts itself out aren't. And I always describe it in I change how I do it, but conceptually a similar way of everyone sat there adding people on LinkedIn, building out their network, but then they say nothing to them.
Yeah.
What is the point of building 10, 20, 30,000 connections and then sitting there silently? Not one person is going to go through their connections and go, oh, look, there's Alex Dick.
Yeah.
I'm going to send him a message despite the fact that I've never seen anything from
Yeah.
him before. Whereas half of the messages I get is, you keep popping up on my feed, so I thought I should probably reach out.
Yeah.
And 99 times out of 100, that is how the message starts.
Yeah.
So we're basically irritating people into submission, which is arguably what recruiters have been doing for years. We're just weaponizing it now to a far wider audience.
There's a different way of doing it as well. Again, from rather than just relying on the phone and cold outreach. Again, it's the whole aspect of the whole social selling in a way where you're just becoming in someone's mind, where you are just there, and then when the realization they need your service.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, I already know. Rather than having to go through your old yellow book, you can just
go
hello, there's Alex.
But
Boom, done.
But that's, and the number of times people feel like you've caught them at the exact moment they needed it. And so the number of people that will have a bad day, go on LinkedIn, see our post and be like, I've had a shit day at work.
Yeah.
You seem to be the opposite of that. Can we have a chat? And it's all the time, like genuinely all the time. And like there've been moments where I've had full weeks where I've done nothing else but respond to LinkedIn messages off the back of posts that have done well. And it actually, in all honesty, it's got to a point on some occasions where it's stressful, where some posts have just gone nuts and I can't keep up because I really don't like, if someone's gone to the effort of messaging me, ignoring the, hi, we've just connected, would you like to buy my blah?
Yeah.
They get a meme of someone saying nope, like Homer Simpson disappearing into a bush or whatever. But people that have genuinely taken time to message me, I always want to respond to, because if somebody's actually put effort into sending me a message, the least I can do is respond, as long as they're not trying to sell me some random shit. And so I really don't like it when I see there's a few hundred. I'm like, fuck, how am I going to respond? And I genuinely feel bad, because I know if I was in a position where some of those people are asking for help, some of those people are asking for my advice, some of those people want to join or whatever, all of those messages, unless they're abusive, which occasionally they are, merit a response. And I believe in treating people the way I would want to be treated. So I've had it a few times recently where I've had people send me another message and I've seen they messaged 3 months ago. And every single time the first thing I'm doing is apologising, because I just see it and I immediately feel like, not sick to my stomach, but I'm like, fuck's sake, like, how did I miss this? This person's taken time. And these aren't like 2 words of, hi, can we have a chat? These are sort of, I had a chap recently who finished it with, I think I might have said too much, because he was giving me the full sort of rundown of everything that was notionally going wrong. And I didn't respond. And it wasn't that I hadn't responded because I hadn't responded. I haven't responded because I hadn't seen it. And I just picked up the phone to him straight away and was like, look, I'm so sorry. Like, I would have ignored that message. It's not in me. But unfortunately, I'm at a point where I just occasionally, on occasion, just get so many I can't physically keep up. And yeah, that's a weird thing that I have found myself doing. I find myself spending a hell of a lot of time helping other people and other recruitment business owners and smaller recruitment businesses or people that want to bounce ideas. I've probably got 20 or 30 actual recruiters who are working at other recruitment businesses who are coming to me asking me for like mentoring. And I have an agreement with all of them. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to support them. They can call me and ask questions and tactics and all of that sort of stuff if they're not getting that from their business. But if they ever consider something like what we do, I want them to join us. And if they ever start a business and become way more successful than me, I want them to look after me. That's my rule. But if I help them get there, don't forget me.
No, exactly.
But yeah, again, I find that really satisfying. I really enjoy helping other people and helping other people realize their goals, because weirdly I stopped, which for a salesperson is a weird thing to say, I stopped being motivated exclusively by money a long time ago, because you get to a point of success where you're having 130, 140, 150 to 180 was, I think, my peak grand months. And weirdly, money becomes a bit weird at that point. It's not that exciting because there's just so much of it. And I know this is a definite first world problem, but it stops being exciting.
Yeah.
Which it sounds ridiculous, and I can't explain why. Because even saying it now, I'm thinking that sounds fucking stupid. But actually, I get more satisfaction seeing other people do well and helping other people out than I do sitting there billing. And of course, I get satisfaction of helping people get jobs, and that's an element of it. But I've almost become anathematized to that now. Whereas if I help someone get their desk going, or help them make the right decision on a deal, and they send me a message back going, your advice was spot on, I've just got the biggest deal of my career, and you helped me turn that from a no fee because I thought I was fucked to a big fee. Like that's actually quite satisfying. It'd be way more satisfying if they worked in ALS and I could see some fruits of that. But actually, it's really nice, and actually a simple thank you. People don't say thank you enough in life. A simple thank you to me means more than almost anything, in all
100%.
honesty, because it means that somebody's actually genuinely appreciated what you did. And like the message I got from Adam at One Up, like just something as simple as that, it's made my day. I will give him a cuddle when I see him shortly, because people don't have to do that, but it's that little bit of effort that people just simply don't make that just brightens people's days. And I try and carry that through the stuff that I do, and I guess to an extent that's a feature of my brand, isn't it? It's just treat people the way you would want to be treated.
It's like that. Again, like, it's even experiences I've had with that. It's just like people ask me for advice on what should I write, what should I do, this kind of thing, and then there's times where I could be a dick and be like, right, I'll charge you 50 quid for this bit of advice, but you're like, what's the point? And I've done it once, and then the chap said, oh, you need some help on something about US legal recruitment. Obviously, I had no idea, but I sort of took it and went, right, let's reword it like this so an average Joe like me could understand it. And he did it, and then he got 3 leads off the back of it, and I was like, well, there you go. And I was like, again, I've still never taken a penny from him, and nor do I look to. And he just said thank you on the thing, and I'm like, that's all I need. And that's just
but weirdly,
easy sometimes.
In the moment that person needs something, who are they going to go to? They're going to go to you, most likely. And also, the more you do that, the more rods you have in the lake, and one will bite. And also, what's wrong with being nice? What's wrong with being helpful?
I feel like it pays to be nice, but even like you say, with yourself, we're saying, great, the monetary value of it all, awesome, but like, it's just nice to actually feel good after you actually help someone versus just going, oh, that popped an extra couple quid in my bank account, awesome, and then you go, what do I do about that? And you're like, that's about it. And you're like, great, but if you actually help someone scale the business, do a bit more, and feel better about themselves, kind of thing, it's so
quite fulfilling. I've realised that I get fulfilled by things that are different than I thought I would be fulfilled by. I thought it would be the race to riches, which don't get me wrong, I'm still quite money motivated, but actually my sense of fulfillment comes from other things that I didn't expect would be the things that I get fulfillment from. So, in terms of your mission in the world of personal branding, what would you say you're trying to achieve? Because, of course, you've moved from being in a marketing role to, well, not notionally marketing role, it was a marketing role, but sort of became a recruitment role that was sort of a mixture of things.
We don't talk about that.
to fully embracing the personal branding world, and you are pretty passionate about it. So what's not necessarily the end goal, but where are you looking to get with it?
Well, it's just, again, I've kind of passively, randomly done it from business to business, where I've just realised that, like you say, it's great having the company branding and stuff like that, but people will, especially in the world of recruitment, buy from the people that work there. So every time I've done it, I've done to push the consultants out there, even the office manager, the admins, whatever, every person who works in the business, have them front and centre, because the likelihood, unless you're Apple, Google, whatever, people are not going to really care about the companies. I always say the company branding is important because it's your basis and it helps you go.
Where's your shop from?
Yeah, this is how I can help you, and this is what it is. Oh, I work for these guys. Boom. But the likelihood is I'm working with Alex, so I like to speak to Alex, and I'd like to have my whole interaction. So there's that. But again, that's why I say in recruitment, that's why I'm quite passionate about doing recruitment, because I've been around since like I was 14, basically, helping my sister with odd jobs here and there when she did hospitality stuff. But it's just, I think it's the undervalued of it, and I think because the whole industry has a bad rep of, you get scarred by one recruiter who's just about
everyone's a scumbag.
Yeah, get a sales, that's it, and then it's just all about the sale. They don't care about the person, and it happens because I know people are trying to make money, and fair enough.
And there are definitely recruiters out there, and a large portion of them that are like that.
Yeah,
but
and you
there's
just can't
also
blame
very
them.
professional ones that actually give a shit.
And again, I think when you sort of peel it back about what is a recruiter kind of thing, and you are changing a person's life. And it's, I know it sounds a bit poetic and a bit cliche and all this kind of stuff, but you are, because a person could be working like in a toxic job, and you place them into one that isn't, and that could be the job they have for the rest of their lives, and they couldn't be happier, and they could have been in such a bad place in that previous job. You might just go, sweet, I've got $2,000 commission off of that, whatever. Sweet, I'm winning. But when actually you just help that person like save like marriage or something like that, because they're no longer away all the time, or this kind of thing. So I always like try and push those stories and everything that out there for people to see. And like I say, the recruitment has a bad reputation, I think. And when you think about it, as much as I've been badgered by recruiters in the past and stuff like this, begging me to go to X company and all this sort of stuff. When you find the good ones, you know who they are.
Oh yeah.
And you realise again, they're just another human being behind the phone and the email. And I think people see it and they go, "No, another fucking recruitment company, another recruiter," and this sort of stuff. And you go, "It's actually a person just trying to put food on their plate as much as you are." And again, appreciate you're going to be a busy person, but these are people and they actually have lives. And as much as, like, again, we slate the people who go, "Oh, I'm on holiday," and like, here's me in bikini and this sort of stuff. You go, at least, this is what average people like them do. They go on holidays and this sort of stuff. Maybe don't put it on LinkedIn, but even then, still great to see the inside of like who it is. And that's kind of the mission behind it, is just to get the rest of everyone to realise, again, there's more to, one, posting jobs on LinkedIn, and two, there's more to a recruiter than just jobs. Like, you are doing a pretty decent service for people.
Well, and if you care about it, you will. And I reckon for every one person who thinks I'm an idiot, and there's a fair few of them, I could probably find you 10 people who would counter that person, quite aggressively counter that person's view, because I can think of 20 or 30 without even taking a second of people who were going to leave. Like, so I was placing lawyers who were going to leave the profession of being a lawyer that they'd worked at for 20 plus years because they hated their environment so much, and got them environments where they're earning double and have found their love for it and shout from the rooftops that they absolutely love it again. And when you do that, there is a huge element of satisfaction where you're like, actually, I've changed this person's, genuinely changed this person's life. And it sounds, you are right, it does sound corny, but it is important, because, as you say, we're dealing with people. Of course, there's an element of a financial gain from it because we're not the job centre. But at the same time, the two things aren't mutually exclusive. No. You can have... Is that your knuckles? What?
Got about 5 minutes left, by the way.
Fine, the camera's still all right.
Awesome.
Fine. So let's start
wrapping. Yeah.
Let's help people. So
help people.
So in terms of where you want to go with your podcast, let's talk about that quickly, because we need to. The camera's going to die in a second. Yeah. So what's the plan?
Well, the idea. So you obviously said beyond the profile. So it's looking at across all sectors, not exclusive recruitment. Ideally, people in recruitment, because obviously,
the target demographic.
Yeah, exactly. Sell to them. Great, boom. But it's just looking at people why they started it, what they've gained from it, and even then, I've got a couple of people going to talk negatively on it, which I'm buzzing about, to be fair, because they've got bigger audiences than me, and yet they still
think it's shit.
Yeah, and it's like it's mad to think that, and. But yet they show up daily doing it and this sort of stuff, because, I guess LinkedIn society's told them. So just kind of delving into those subjects of what it's going to be about and how people have done it, and people want to talk to people who've built businesses from it, and going from graduate to senior within their business because of it or something like that. There's a whole bunch of stories about it. I think it's interesting as well. Again, I think it's not looked at enough. I think a lot of people just presume there's one way to do it, and it's just like, you've got to be super personable, but it's like you've got to do it with a meaning. It's not just that. So, it's looking at the different techniques of it and everything. There's a lot to go through and a lot to unpack, and a lot of different aspects, which will be fun. I think there'll be as many as fun as you, but
You'll get there. You'll get there.
We can see, but no.
You're going to fight the good fight.
I'm going to try my best.
The thing is, your target audience is probably bigger than mine. So, yeah,
I
I think you'll be all right. And I think the personal branding space is only going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. It seems to be the way that social media is going. People want to understand what's behind behind the profile, exactly as you said. So, I don't think that's going anywhere.
No, well, I hope not. I'll be out of a job.
It's going to the job centre for
me.
That's what it is.
This would be great, yeah. But no, it's going to be an interesting journey to look through, and especially there's some people I'm excited to speak to because of the certain ways they journeys. Do it. Yeah. It's because everyone has different ways of doing it as well, and certain people do it in just video or just text and this kind of stuff. So it's going to be exciting.
Cool. Right. You're the only person that is ever going to be allowed to do this.
I get an outro.
You get to do an outro and plug yourself on it.
Oh, no.
Nobody is allowed to plug themselves, but you have how many minutes?
Seconds? Oh, dear. I'll just say seconds. Just like,
My name's Arthur.
Yeah, my name's Arthur. Do personal branding for recruiters, and podcast will be out probably end of April, so keep an eye out.
Give them your bloody surname so they can find you.
Papworth, yeah. I wish I'd been pronouncing as well. I've been mispronouncing for about 25 years.
Your own surname?
Yeah, I have.
How were you pronouncing it?
Well, no, I had a problem growing up where I did f instead of the.
So you were Papworth.
Yeah.
Not Papworth.
Yeah, because I've been an idiot. So, like God of Thunder.
Yeah.
Four. So I've been saying four for about 25 years.
My son does that.
Yeah.
There's a slight difference.
Yeah. I'm very professional, just to tell everyone.
Yeah. You can type it fine.
I can type Thor and 4.
Well, it's been a pleasure doing our joint podcast effort.
It.
And thank you. Laters, potatoes.